All right, guys. First look, Week 5 NFL overlay. We hit you with the DK stuff earlier. We are here to talk about the larger progressive jackpot contest that we go through pretty much every week. We do our final thoughts video on Friday or Saturday, so we'll get back to it later. I know we both managed to place, but you finished in the big boy one, the 22. I only played the $2.50 one, and then I stuck to the 5-pick shootouts a little bit this week. Placed in both of those, but the shootout, a lot of people were 4-1, so I had to split way too much money on that.
It sucks, but it happens. Yeah, I was lucky to. Actually, I didn't even sneak into the 22. I was solid, man. Like my first 8 picks were right, and then after that, I missed 3 of them. But I had like a tiebreaker of 70, so I was solid. Went 9-3, so close, but no cigar, of course.
Yeah, I was 9-3 until the very last minute, and I forget what pick it was that pushed me down to 8-4, but it was enough on the tiebreaker points to finish in the money. God, who was it? Somebody caught a late touchdown. Do you remember in the afternoon games? It was a popular pick too.
Someone caught a late touchdown in the afternoon games. There was only 2 afternoon games.
Now I'm just curious.
Allen Robinson.
Thank you. You got it.
Because that game wasn't supposed to be an afternoon game, but so that confused me. But yep.
All right, guys. So we're gonna run through this. The whole point of this contest again, top 10%. So if 200 people enter, the top 20 people get $180 off their $22 buy-in. I mean, the ultimate goal, which again, we're not foolish. We realize it's really difficult, but if you can go 12-0, you win $12,000. The NBA one built up like way up there, over 20 grand, and it was won by a guy who is, I call him a DFS ally or whatever you want. But DFS Wolfpack won the 20 grand, got his check in the mail. Bling bling, as your boy Johnny Manziel used to say.
I mean, that's a nice hit coming off.
It's a real nice hit.
Yeah, coming off $22, like that'll make your year, in a lot of cases, depending on how big you play and who you are, etc. So I'm with it, man. Like Wolfpack, an ally friend of ours, started playing overlay through us. So anyone can do it, as evidenced.
So they opened up the matchup shop, which we've discussed at length. And there's NFL picks up there. I love David Montgomery this morning at +8, and he's already down to +6.5. So clearly I wasn't alone on that one. But go through these. There are some great picks in here that I will probably discuss a little bit more detail in members only, because we're not going to go through all of them on here. And if you're interested in signing up to play on overlay, you've probably heard us jibber-jabbering about it for over a year now. Sign up and just screenshot your initial deposit and send it to me. I'll give you a free membership to the DFS 5-pack based on how big your deposit is. Let's go have some fun. And as much as we enjoy the progressive tournaments, I just have a feeling, and again, gut feeling more than anything, this matchup thing is going to blow up, because it's really, really, really easy to get skin in the game right here. As initial players doing a website, it's harder to get some of the tournaments rolling. Now, once the matchup shop continues to blow up bigger, I think the tournaments will continue to get bigger and bigger. But this is a really easy way to dissect DFS, and you're not competing with optimizers.
When you're not competing with anyone else, it's amazing. I love the matchup shop. It's built for someone like me. I'm in it there all the time. I've been very successful so far, and I'm hoping to keep that going, man. You're the one that originally got me hard on this, and now it's probably the first thing I look at when I wake up.
Right? Because I know there are, for those of you out there who have hundreds of $1,000s in bankroll, congratulations. I'm jealous. That's fantastic. But that's not your normal person. But your normal person can find something they like. Pick one in here. Maybe you think Brady's gonna destroy Foles on Thursday night, and the 9 points is nothing. Put your money where your mouth is and go big on that. I personally, that's not the one I would pick, but pick one that you like. Stick your money in when you have it the best. It won't always work out. I've taken a couple of really close losses lately, so I'm due for some good luck. But I just find it a more exact way to do it. It sucks competing against optimizers, or when you have a good play, everybody uses that good play, so there's no edge.
Yep, for sure.
So we're going to run through the tournament, but this thing is growing fast, and it's a very enjoyable day to watch. Right now, watching Acuna strike out, I have Acuna versus Freeman. I have a few bucks on it, so now I know I'm rooting against Freddie Freeman. It's a very simplistic way to play it without having to root for 90 different people.
No doubt about it.
All right. Amari Cooper against Tyreek Hill. Who you got here?
Cooper, but it's really hard to go against Tyreek Hill ever. I mean, he scored a touchdown every week. He's elite. So I have Cooper, but it's not one that I'm dying to choose.
See, and I like Hill on this website because I do think this is a close one, but I want to reiterate these are half point PPR. And in the PPR website, I might be more willing to bet on a Cooper because I think he has more of a reception total guy, whereas Tyreek Hill's your big play. That doesn't mean I'm right or wrong in this situation because it is really close, and that's the reason the question is up here. I got Hill, you got Cooper, but I think we both agree like it could go either way right here. This is a tough question.
No doubt.
All right, Juju Smith-Schuster against Philly, Cooper Kupp against Washington. We haven't seen Pittsburgh in so long now.
Yeah, no, it's interesting. Cooper Kupp looks good, so I'm going to go Kupp, but again, very tough one.
I'm also going to go Cooper Kupp. I will side with you on this Cooper, but it's not. I don't feel good about it. Philadelphia is weaker in the secondary. They're tougher to run on, so I do think Pittsburgh is going to have to throw it a little bit. I don't know what the hell Washington's doing.
Well,
There's a couple really bad owners in football, but Washington leads the way.
is it even a quarterback? I mean, is it a quarterback downgrade from Washington here? I'm not sure.
When you have no quarterbacks, you have no quarterbacks, right? Like this, your roster here is terrible. It's not that you have two quarterbacks, you have none. You have no quarterbacks.
Agreed. So I think the Rams have the ball a lot here.
All right, Robbie Anderson versus Tyler Boyd. Look, Tyler Boyd's good, but Robbie Anderson is playing Atlanta, who might legitimately have started the year with one of the worst secondaries ever, and now it's banged up and even worse. I know everybody's laughing at the screenshot of the Packers play where they picked up the fourth down, and there's three guys completely uncovered. Like, that's who Atlanta is. Give me Robbie Anderson, who appears to be Bridgewater's favorite target.
Yeah, I think you're getting not that he couldn't outscore him, but I do think you're getting a little too cute picking Boyd here.
Yeah, Baltimore's defense is good. Since he could struggle right here, Carolina's going to move it.
The only reason you pick Boyd here is if you think he gets there in junk time, I think.
It's possible, right? I can understand why you would get there. But I also think it's Atlanta. And I don't, like you said, I don't want to try to get too cute here.
Yeah, agreed.
All right. And this is one I will 100% pick because there's a lot of options this week as of right now. Who knows what coronavirus will do. But this is one that will make my top 12. No questions about it.
I'm with you.
All right. Next up, Zeke the Freak versus Derrick Henry. Look, in a standard league with no PPR and what's the best way to look at this? The same matchup, I would pick Derrick Henry. But this is a half-point PPR league. Zeke is tallying those up. Give me Zeke right here. I'm a bigger Henry fan than Zeke. I think Henry's better, but this is a Zeke spot for me.
This is a Zeke spot, but I cannot remember a running back who didn't catch balls that was like as good as Henry in PPR.
Not like, recent memory, right?
Right, because he's such a lock for like on the goal line carries, like, and them giving him the ball there.
There is literally no other lock for goal line carries like him. Like, it is his job, right? There is no questions. Like, even when you watch Zeke, you're like, one, they could run it in, but two, like, Pollard's in there every once in a while. There is nothing else besides Derrick Henry.
And even Dak will sneak it in. Like, they will give Henry a couple of shots every time. So that's just a side note, but I'm with you. Give me Zeke here.
All right, Josh Jacobs versus Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Give me Edwards-Helaire. I know I see Jacobs getting a little love this week, and I get it because, you know, the best way to beat Kansas City is to control the clock. I just don't have any faith in the Raiders to stay close with Kansas City. They came off of a less than stellar game against New England. I could definitely see them coming out with a little bit of vengeance early on and getting up early.
Yeah, and then they lost at home to Buffalo last week. Oh, I think you're talking about the Chiefs because the Raiders played 2 weeks ago, but then they lost to Buffalo. I don't know. I could see the Raiders being competitive in this game, more competitive than people think. But I'll still take Clyde here just because, you know, he's in a much better spot.
I always like the Chiefs better when they look lackluster the week before. You know what I mean? Like, they looked lackluster against the Chargers. They managed to win the game, but then they came out against the Ravens and laid the wood. They did not look great against the Patriots for 3 quarters. And in fact, if Cam Newton's in that game, you wonder who wins it. But now knowing, and again, while we don't view the Raiders as a great team, like a get-up spot, this is still a rivalry, so give me Edwards.
True, but it is the Raiders Super Bowl.
It is. Wait a minute, hold on. You don't think the Raiders are going to the real Super Bowl?
No, they're not. Okay,
that's fair. All right, next up, Miles Sanders versus Jonathan Taylor. I'm going to reiterate again, this is a half-point PPR website because I have no faith in Miles Sanders' ability to run the ball on Pittsburgh, which this eats into his passing statistics. Jonathan Taylor has definitely taken a step down, and I respect Cleveland's ability to potentially get a lead in this game, and maybe they might have to go a little throw heavy. But all that being said, for this week, give me Jonathan Taylor.
I'm going to go Miles Sanders. Just been so much more impressed with him than Taylor. And yeah, you're right. It's definitely a better spot for Taylor because anything is a better spot than Pittsburgh. But I think Sanders finds a way to have a decent game here.
Okay. I feel like this year I'm more on Pittsburgh's defense where it was flipped last year. You're the one who really got me watching them, and I think they're really, really good. But this year I seem to respect them a little bit more than you, which is fun because we definitely have those types of conversations here on a day in and day out basis. And the number of times I've talked you into somebody and you like them more or flip it around is kind of funny.
Not saying you're wrong about that, but this is more about Sanders than the Pittsburgh D, which ultimately may be your point, but it's not really about the Pittsburgh D. I just think Sanders is good. They've had a couple weeks. No, they haven't. They played last Sunday night. Did they just play this recent Sunday night?
Philly? Or no. Yeah, Philly. They played Sunday night against San Fran.
Okay, so they're coming off a nice game. I think that, listen, just to a gut call more than anything, I like Sanders more than Taylor. Not like I love Sanders on DK or anything like that. I just like him more than Taylor, who has been less than inspiring in my opinion.
I agree. David Johnson, Mark Ingram, give me David Johnson. I expect Texans to play hard this week.
Give me David Johnson too, although, man, you can run on Cincy, so I don't hate Ingram, but Johnson's just much more needed.
Exactly. One team has one real running back and then a scat back in Duke Johnson. The other team has Ingram, Dobbins, and Gus Edwards is still in the mix.
Yeah, he's not bad either.
And Mark Ingram, I think, is still the guy that the Ravens plan to carry a bigger workload a little bit later in the season potentially. So they're really saving him, I think, early on. Unless it's seen in it, I just don't give Cincy a ton of credit to keep this one super close.
I'm with you.
All right. Todd Gurley versus James Robinson. Look, I expect Houston to play well this week, which is not good for James Robinson. I'm not a big believer in Gurley, but with Julio Jones bagged up, they couldn't do it successfully because the Packers got up early, but it really looked like Atlanta was trying to establish the run. He got the 2 touchdowns in the red zone. Carolina has been a little better, but they're still very susceptible to goal line running back work. So I'll take Todd Gurley here.
I'll take Gurley too. I don't feel great about it, but I'm with you on all your points.
I don't feel great about it either, but it's one I think I will end up picking.
Yeah, I'm with that.
All right, Higbee versus Henderson Jr. I have no idea on this one. I know a lot of people were gung-ho about Henderson last week, and he was trash.
He was so chalk. I mean, he was popular all over, but on the late slate, I mean, he was like 80% owned. He was awful. The Rams' offense was awful, though.
Yeah, I mean, Malcolm Brown outperformed him as far as the running back position goes. Now Akers is questionable. I think if Akers plays this week, I'll probably go Higbee because then it's a 3-headed monster at running back.
Same. If he's out, though, I'll go Henderson.
Yeah, I'm with you on that one. Just, there's only 2 running backs, whereas Higbee doesn't always get involved in the passing game.
And your point, half-point PPR.
Right, and also they're playing Washington, which isn't terrible. So after a less than stellar performance by the Rams, I'd have to expect them to play better this week too.
Yep.
All right, next up, Patrick Mahomes versus Lamar Jackson. The last 2 MVPs. One's got Cincy, one's got Vegas. We've been talking a lot about how Lamar Jackson is the best fantasy quarterback in football. Hasn't been so far this year. I like Mahomes this week, knowing that it's a division rivalry game right here. Not that Baltimore and Cincy isn't, but I'm actually going to take Mahomes this time, which is rare.
I like both of them a lot. I could see both of them like having upside, so I'm going to not pick it.
But that's probably where I end up as well.
But I'll pick Mahomes too. I'm with you.
All right, Dak Prescott versus Josh Allen. Give me Dak Prescott. Josh Allen has been amazing. I'm more worried about a slower game, Buffalo at Tennessee, than I am Dallas versus New York, which I'm sure there'll be a lot of offense there.
So, I agree completely. And this is how the NFL works. I think Buffalo is definitely better than Tennessee, and I think Tennessee is fraudulent. But I think they beat Buffalo this week because this is a good spot for them. They've been off. It's at home. Buffalo going west to east. I like the Titans in this spot.
Hold on, Buffalo going west to east?
Yeah, because they just played in Vegas last week.
Okay.
Only reason I say that. Obviously, Buffalo is not west.
I think we need to have a geography lesson here, young man.
Prescott, as much as I like the running game there, he's still facing the Giants. So I like Prescott a lot. Probably my favorite one so far.
Really? I wouldn't say it's that high for me, but it's one I think I'll pick. Dallas's defense is so bad, they have to score. I could see the Buffalo-Tennessee game being more of a knock them down, drag it out type of game where, 20-17, somebody pulls it off, running backs give a heavy workload, the clock goes fast.
Same.
All right. Baker Mayfield against Phillip Rivers. good one.
He's a
Phillip Rivers. I have faith in your Cleveland Browns right now, and I know that may be the kiss of death, but I think they get a lead in this game, and Indianapolis has to play from behind. And Mayfield and Kareem Hunt and the boys, they do what they need to do, and they run the ball very effectively.
I don't disagree with that, but I also think that the Colts D is better than the Browns D, so it's going to be an easier spot for Rivers anyways. And if the Browns get up, it'll be through the running game. Not saying that Mayfield couldn't throw a touchdown pass or two or whatever, but I'm going to go Rivers as well.
All right. Matt Ryan versus Jared Goff. So this is all about Julio for me. How healthy is Julio? You saw Matt Ryan very ineffective on Monday night, and part of that is without Julio Jones there to create double teams, Calvin Ridley looks human. I need to know how healthy Julio is before I make this decision.
I agree.
So if Julio is 100%, give me Matt Ryan. If he's out or hobbled, and I have trouble seeing him be 100%, I'm going to go Jared Goff.
Yeah, I lean Goff here.
Yeah, I get that. No arguments here. All right, Carson Wentz against Pittsburgh, Joe Burrow against Baltimore.
Ooh.
Give me Joe Burrow.
Give me Wentz.
Yeah, you're a bigger Wentz fan than I am, so I kind of thought we would disagree on this one.
And I'm interested to see the Cincy Baltimore game though, only because like Baltimore got rolled by KC obviously, and they did not look good last week. Maybe they were just like, going through the motions, but I feel like if they play like that this week, they could lose this game.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that point at all. It's kind of what I was thinking a little bit myself. So I don't think Carson Wentz is very good anymore, and I think he's going to struggle against this Pittsburgh pass rush. So I don't think either of these guys has a big week, unlike the next two guys.
I might have just talked myself into Burrow, though, based on that alone.
Yeah. The next couple of guys could have big weeks, though. Kyler Murray against the terrible, terrible Jets. Watson against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Free Deshaun Watson, no Bill O'Brien. Look, I'll take Kyler Murray, but this is a byproduct of the fact that I still think Houston can run the ball a little bit. I have no faith in Arizona to be able to run the ball, so I think Murray has to do everything. And even though we like the idea of the Texans playing well, we don't know that they're going to play well with the new head coach.
Well, they're also like just not very good, maybe. They lost their best player in Hopkins. The upside's with Watson here, in my opinion, but the safe's called Murray. So,
and it's not like Murray doesn't own big upside with that in the building, right?
I agreed. I mean, I feel like the Watson big game is coming, but I feel safer with Murray. So, I struggle with this one. And I'll go Murray, though.
All right. Bridgewater versus Fitzpatrick. Last week, I was all about Fitzpatrick. This week, give me Bridgewater against Atlanta. Easy peasy lemon squeezy.
Agreed.
I mean, this is an easy one for me. This will be a top 5 pick.
Yep.
Ryan Tannehill against Buffalo. Gardner Minshew at Houston. I know we talked about the Houston defense, talking through DK. But in this situation, I expect Minshew to have to throw. And while I think he might get a couple picks and get sacked a little bit, I don't expect a big week from Tannehill. So give me Minshew, but I'm not a big fan of this one.
Yeah, give me Minshew also.
I don't think I'll pick this one, though.
Same.
All right, Daniel Jones versus Derek Carr. I think the floor is with Derek Carr, but I like Jones against Dallas. I'm going to put faith in him, even though he's been mostly terrible this year. That Dallas pass defense is laughable.
Yeah, give me Jones, although I definitely agree the floor is with Carr.
If there's a team that can make the Giants look good, it's a Mike McCarthy-led team.
Yep.
All right, Darren the Baller Waller versus Zach Ertz. Give me Waller.
Waller for sure.
Travis Kelce versus George Kittle. I need to see who's all back for San Francisco this week. If they start getting a few weapons back, i.e., their quarterback, Raheem Mostert, then it's going to be a tougher call. If they're very shorthanded again, then I like George Kittle because he can get open against anybody. He's just that good.
Yeah, I like both of them. But give me Kelce, gut call.
All right, a couple of studs right there, no doubt about it.
I'm a huge Kelce fan. I mean, I like both of them.
Yeah, I'm probably a bigger Kittle fan than you are. You're probably a bigger Kelce fan than I am. But we both realize these two guys are awesome.
Yeah, they're so good.
All right. Evan Ingram. I think George Kittle might actually be better than Travis Kelce, but Travis Kelce has something George Kittle doesn't. And he goes by the name Pat Mahomes, which I mean, if at the end of the day, who would you rather have delivering the ball? Pat Mahomes or Jimmy G or Beathard or Mullins? It's Pat Mahomes, even if you combined all three of their skill sets together.
Yeah, no doubt.
All right, Evan Ingram versus Golden Tate. It's a tough call. I like both of these young fellas this week. I don't want to pick this one because I think it's a really tough call.
Same. Jimmy Golden Tate, but I like both a lot.
Yeah, man, this is a coin flip to me. These are the ones I struggle on because I like both of them about the same. So you said Tate. Instead of fighting with you on this one, I'll just agree with you.
Sweet.
All right, Jonnu Smith against Buffalo, Hayden Hurst against Carolina. Give me Hayden Hurst. I think you're going to get a. I think Julio's going to be out, and this could be Hayden Hurst breakout game.
I'm with it.
All right, Odell Beckham against the Colts, Stephon Diggs against Tennessee. Oh boy.
I don't really like either of these guys this week.
I don't love either of these guys this week, but Diggs is just better with Buffalo than Beckham typically is with Cleveland.
Great.
Unless they're playing Dallas. So give me Stephon Diggs.
Yeah, I'm with you. Give me Diggs too.
All right, Robert Woods against Washington, DJ Chark against Houston. Give me Chark. I think Jacksonville's throwing for most of the game.
Same, and he's like by far more needed.
Yeah. Will Fuller against Jacksonville, DJ Moore against Atlanta. Give me Will Fuller. Again, he's a clear-cut number one for this team. Really, it's not even close. DJ Moore, on the other hand, I mean, it's only 4 games, but under Bridgewater, he's been the number 2 guy.
True. Give me Fuller.
All right. Hopkins versus the Jets, Ridley versus Carolina. Hopkins.
Yeah, I like Hopkins. I think he scores twice this week.
Recency bias. It's hard to give Ridley a lot of faith when, without Julio, he couldn't beat one-on-one coverage of Jair Alexander. Now, you guys know I'm a big Packer fan, and I love Jair Alexander, but, all this talk that mostly coming from me and a few other people that Ridley might be a legit number 1 wide receiver. He didn't show it the other night, so there's a lot of recency bias in the back of my mind.
Yeah, I also love Hopkins, so give me Hopkins.
I know you do. He's awesome. All right, Scary Terry versus Jamison Crowder. I'll take Crowder. I'll take the former Redskin versus the current Redskin. Quite frankly, McLaurin is stuck with Jalen Ramsey coverage this week. That is not an easy task.
It is not, but man, if when Washington gets down, like freaking like last week, even against Baltimore, he had 20 fantasy points. So I'm with you. I like Crowder more, but I'm not like in love with it.
I get that. That makes sense. CeeDee Lamb against Marquise Brown. This is it. This is the week. He gets a big one. Give me Marquise Brown.
He's been so close. He was so close to scoring last week. So I'm with you. Give me Brown.
T.Y. Hilton versus Gallup. Give me Gallup. I think T.Y.'s seen better days. He doesn't seem to have the chemistry of Phillip Rivers.
Agreed. Probably Denzel Ward all over him too. Give me Gallup for sure.
Yeah, problem with small, fast receivers like Hilton, they get to a certain age, and once they lose that speed, he doesn't have any size to lean on.
Yep. Well, there's TR going yard.
Well, there goes my pick. That's good. All right, Sammy Watkins versus Jarvis Landry. Watkins.
Yeah, give me Watkins too. I just expect much more offense in that game.
Rams defense against Washington. Ravens defense against Cincinnati. Give me the Rams against Washington. This Rams defense is playing well, and I just literally have no faith in Washington's offense. I think Haskins is terrible. I don't agree with this move to take him out, though.
Well, I don't know if I agree with it because it's like you're not Kyle Allen's nothing. I mean, we know that, but Haskins sucks. Like
he does suck. No arguments there.
Like he's not ready for this. And you got to try to win games. Like he cannot win games at the NFL level. So
is Allen going to win games at the NFL level? This is a bad football team.
Yeah, probably not, but maybe. I think there's more of a chance right now than Haskins just because it's the unknown.
I just never like when you have a young quarterback and you're like, okay, you haven't played great. A lot of this is our fault. You're not good either, but like that's it. Like we're just pulling you, and like does that do much for his confidence?
No, it's awful for that. And I will say, like I saw Dan Orlovsky post something about how Haskins wasn't even that bad last week, and he's far from the only problem. And I don't disagree with that, but to your point, like he hasn't played great. He's played worse than not great. He's been not good.
Look, man, I'm sitting on here every week on the show telling you how bad I think he is. So I don't have any arguments with you right there. But your answer behind him isn't good either. I think we all know that, right? Like you've even said it. Like we all know this isn't the answer either. So do you want to kill your young guys? I mean, don't you at least want to hope he gets better? And if you stink, go get another top pick.
Yeah, I mean, I don't disagree with that logic either.
So, I mean, it's a no-win situation because no matter what, you're losing, and neither of these guys is probably the future.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, Pats defense versus 49ers defense. Sounds like Gilmore won't be playing now that he's tested positive, so that hurts the Pats defense.
Definitely.
If Locke is in, definitely give me the Niners defense then.
I still respect the Dolphins offense way more than Denver, though. So give me the Patriots.
I got to know who's in for Denver. If Phillip Lindsay and Drew Lock play, then I do feel better about them being competent. So I get your pick, and this isn't one I'm lining up to pick, but I think I'll have a better decision for you guys on Saturday.
Yeah, it makes sense.
So that's what we got for this one, man. Click that thumbs up button, y'all. Let's have some fun. Let's go win some money on Overlay. Hit me up with those screenshots after you make your initial deposit, and best of luck to everybody this weekend.
Yep. Thanks, guys.